If it weren't for Minecraft growing up and chicken nuggets, I'd probably be a lot less autistic. But I love having a little tiz in me. I love Minecraft. However, it seems like recently Minecraft's kind of on a downhill slope as far as updates go. I feel like the recent game drops they've added have been like decent to very lackluster and just complete dog shit sometimes. They add almost nothing, I feel like. So I wanted to go through and rank all the Minecraft updates ever since the 1.0 release of the game up until the most recent release, which is 26.1, and just kind of see, has Minecraft and the updates gotten worse? I think they have, and I wanna see how it's fallen off. If it's fallen off, I want to go back and rank them all. So that's what we're gonna do today. Alright, so to start, I'm gonna kind of leave alone the alpha beta updates. Along the way, there were some really good changes, like the mechanic and option to sprint to have your character run. If you go back and play old beta, it's very hard to do. I made a video on it, but it's very challenging because you can't sprint anywhere. It's very slow paced, unfinished, unpolished. There's no hunger bar in a lot of versions. You just eat food to regenerate health. I don't like it very much personally. I know a lot of people are big fans of beta Minecraft, and it's a solid foundation of the game. Overall, small changes like that over time. Gonna rank all those phases in B tier. Okay, and then the next update, which is just the full release of the game, Minecraft 1.0. This one's a banger too. Right around this time, they were fleshing out the game. It was very unpolished before, but just cleaning up the game, adding an end to it, an end technically, so you can beat the Ender Dragon. In this update, they added the Ender Dragon, the end dimension, brewing stands, enchantments. Enchantments are huge. The game would be so different without enchantments. This update is crazy. They really popped off, and the full release of the game, solid game right there. Perfect. The updates after this just improve it, add cool shit to the game. Alright, coming in at 1.1, this is the biggest piece of shit I've seen in my life. They went off with a bang with the end and everything. Full release of the game, down to almost nothing. It was a decent update. They added spawn eggs to the game and super flat worlds, which are two things you will never use or see unless you play creative mode, really. So, you know, they just added a few things to make the game better. It wasn't a big update. I don't think they intended it to be a big update. It was just kind of a few extra things they added in after all the patches and stuff they added to the game, but really no substance. So this one has to go in F tier. Okay, and then next up we have 1.2, which I kind of have mixed feelings towards, because it didn't add too much to the game, but it added a really cool feature. This update added jungles to the game. Jungles you almost never live in. You kind of pass through them to get cool wood sometimes, or later bamboo, but didn't have bamboo at this point. It was a decent update, nothing game changing. The reason I'm going to put it in like C tier, bottom of B tier, is because as a kid when this first came out, jungles were cool as shit. I don't know about you guys, but I used to make huge jungle tree houses as a kid in Minecraft all the time. Coolest thing ever. You like go on the top of the tree, plant another tree, make a giant tree. It was pretty epic. Some core childhood memories right there. So for that reason alone, I'm gonna put this at the bottom of B tier. You know, it was decent. It added one biome. Can't argue with that. Jungles are pretty cool. The next update's 1.3. This one's very mid. It added a few cool things to the game. Ender chests mainly. That's the highlight. Ender chests are awesome. Love using them. Good way to hide items and store them. But beyond that, you got emeralds added to the game. They did nothing. You could make emerald blocks and basic villager trading before the revamp. Nothing special. When you found emeralds in a cave, it wasn't something to be excited for. You're just like, okay, cool. I got an emerald, I guess. That's fun. Hard to find. Beyond that, they added different types of wood, slabs and stairs. That's kind of cool for decorating, but, you know, nothing of substance. So this one's very mid, gonna go in C tier. The only thing that keeps it in C tier are the ender chests. If it wasn't for the ender chests, we put this in F tier. So it was a very mid update, more on the bad side. But next, 1.4 is a straight banger. We got another good one here, because right when you thought Mojang was done cooking with their updates, they released the Wither, which added a lot of post-game content. After you beat the Ender Dragon, there's another boss to fight now, the Wither, which gives you, once you beat him, kind of difficult boss to fight a little bit. You got to be somewhat prepared. Once you beat him, though, you get access to beacons. Beacons are really useful. You can make pyramids out of them, stacking solid, iron to diamond, emerald blocks up to make a maxed out beacon. Gives you an incentive to go mining, play the game more. And beacons are awesome too. You can get haste, which helps you mine faster, move faster. A lot of late game content. There's no complaints to this update. It's just really solid. Added a lot of cool stuff. This one's an instant S tier right there. The next update is 1.5, which is titled the Redstone Update. Now, you're either going to love this update or think it added nothing too crazy to the game. If you're a basic Minecraft player, newer to the game, don't really use redstone, it's going to be towards like C tier for you. But like myself, this is my first time in a hardcore world like doing automatic farms. Almost any farm you make is going to use redstone materials and blocks that were introduced in this update. They added hoppers, minecart hoppers, redstone blocks. It overhauled the redstone systems. It changed the way we use redstone, and this update was really solid. If you make any automatic farms, that's thanks to this update. So like, you gotta put this one in S tier. Okay, so I had to re-record this clip in the next one. Something happened with the footage. But the next update is the horse update. And horses are a really cool addition to the game. There's a lot of pros and cons to horses. Before Elytra came out, they had more of a use, and it was a really cool update at the time. I was in the 5th grade, and I remember this update coming out vividly, and being super hyped to ride the horses, and they made traversal a lot more fun. So they're very nice to have, but the downside is that when you come across a body of water, the horses just kind of kick you off, and it's a pain in the ass to do anything. So if you're traversing far distances with water in between, they're pretty useless, I can't lie. A swiftness potion in a boat's gonna take you a lot further. So there's a lot of pros and cons. They're a really cool addition, but everything considered, I would realistically put this in C tier. I had this in A tier when I first ranked it in this video. It's gonna show it in A tier, but it's a C tier update, all things considered. The update that changed the world is the one that followed the horse update, and this update changed the world. It's in the title. It changed a lot of things when it came to the world generation. The main thing is that it added two biomes. Added the dark oak biome and the acacia biome. Dark oak is a really cool biome. The dark wood's awesome to get, very useful, great biome. Acacia biome, it's kind of mid. I never build in the acacia biomes. I think they're ugly. The wood type's not the coolest. So that biome kind of gets skipped over. When you're traveling the world, it's cool to see one of those, but I doubt many people actually build inside acacia biomes. And the other main addition added was the addition of a lot of new flower types, ferns. So it made the world look more lively, and it added more life to the world, as well as better world generation. So this update's pretty solid. Wouldn't rank it too high, but I'd probably say it's definitely either A tier or B tier. Let's put it up there. Alright, so the next update was the Bountiful update. The main thing it added was ocean monuments. I'm a little biased because I love building in Minecraft, and prismarine has to be one of the coolest blocks you can get in the game. On top of those, I don't know what they're called, but the fucking ocean lights you can get. The ocean lights in the monuments, those are the coolest lights you can get in the game. So for that reason alone, and looting the ocean monuments, it's pretty fun, I can't lie. So I'm gonna rank this one an S tier. Ocean monuments, just another cool structure you can raid. Awesome blocks you can get from it. Solid update, no complaints. Next update we have is 1.9. This one has to be the most divisive update ever. People either love it or they hate it. And I fucking love this update. It's so good. I remember when this came out, they added so much to the game, to the post game. I thought it was awesome. And what they added in this update was, first of all, they reworked the combat system so your weapons have a cooldown, which a lot of people hate because PvP wise, I've heard a lot of people say they prefer just spam clicking the button with your sword to attack people. Whereas I feel like this system I prefer because there's more strategy. There's a cooldown on your attack, and it gives this cool level of like almost skill and ingenuity to the game. I just fucking love. But yeah, so I like the combat changes. They added the shield. The shield's really cool. You can dual wield now. Another huge change. This allows you to dual wield things like the totem that would later be introduced. Not in this update, not yet. You can dual wield torches in caves. It's just super useful. It's something we use all the time. Another huge change right there, which makes it a banger. And I know some people hate it because of PvP, as I mentioned, but you know, I like to touch grass. I'm not on the game all the time in PvP. I don't really play PvP, so in my opinion, I love this update. They also added, but that wasn't it. They didn't just rework the combat system. They also introduced the new end cities, which give you elytra. And the biggest thing in this update is elytra. Elytra are awesome. It gives you a huge incentive to go beat the Ender Dragon, go to the end, get elytra. Really cool post-game reward. If you have elytra, you use them all the time. It's amazing to be able to fly around it fast. This update's top of S tier. Straight banger. The next update is 1.10, and again, Mojang has a pattern of releasing a banger update and then right after it kind of dialing it back. And this is the worst update so far. It's the bottom of F tier simply because they added nothing. Well, they added polar bears, but I mean, who cares about polar bears? When have you ever seen one, really? They added polar bears, few new blocks to the game, like the magma block, red nether bricks. Nothing of substance at all that you really use too often. And the worst addition is the stray. In case you don't know what the stray is, it's those fucking skeletons in the snow biomes that shoot you with arrows of slowness. So as you're running through the snow, especially in later updates, once you have that fucking packed ice snow, not packed ice, the snow that you can sink into. So you're running through the snow, sinking into the snow, and then you have these skeletons now in the snow biome that will just touch you up the butt with these arrows that slow you down even more. So trapped in snow, can't even run after the skeletons. Skeletons are already one of the worst mobs. Like, they're so annoying, at least early game. And then you get shot with a slowness arrow, so it's so slow to even catch up to them. It just makes the game very annoying. Ultimately, I think this update actually made the game slightly more irritating to play in snow biomes. It's going at the bottom of F tier. I hate this update. The exploration update is pretty peak. What this update introduced were two revolutionary things to Minecraft that have forever changed the game. Every non-woman, non-grass touching sweat individual uses these items all the time, and I'm one of them. I love these two items. This update introduced woodland mansions, which also brought along the pillagers, illagers, all those evil villagers that attack you, which means totems are introduced. When you get a totem, you just hold a totem in your hand, you're unable to die, you get a period of recovery, and while some people may argue it's too OP and makes hardcore playthroughs just kind of a breeze, I kind of suck at hardcore playthroughs. I'm just starting, so I love totems. They've saved my ass multiple times when raiding bastions. So I love totems. There's no complaints. Everyone uses totems. You're always going to see them in offhands. Right there, totems bring this to S tier because it's just an essential item everyone uses. It's that good. As well as totems, shulker boxes were introduced in this update. So you kill a shulker in the end, you can make a shulker box post-game item. It increases your inventory. You can hold boxes of insane amounts of loot and items. So you're going to see tons of these. Even if you just use it for a couple things here and there, it's essential. Especially people grinding on like mega builds, building insane shit in their worlds. They're going to have tons of these. And these two items you use all the time. That's why this update is one of the best. I gotta put it super high just for that. The World of Color update introduced colored beds, colored terracotta, and concrete. Very cool additions to the game, added some more color, but ultimately it's very mid. I wouldn't rank this one any higher than C tier, primarily because for a huge update, it added a few new building blocks to the game. Nothing substantial, and even though concrete's really cool, I'd say that's a substantial block added to the game. It didn't make a huge difference. I feel like even if you're a pro builder, you're not using these blocks all the time, and for that reason alone, it was kind of disappointing as a huge update, the once a year updates. So me personally, I rank this one like C tier. If you're a huge builder, I'm sure you're gonna put it up in like B tier in your list, but yeah, I'd say it's definitely. The next update was Update Aquatic. Very solid update. I love this update solely for the water portion of it, the aquatic part. There are now coral reefs, a lot of fish in the water, and the swimming mechanics are different. So you actually swim through the water like you would in real life. You don't just kind of bob up and down, if you guys remember that, looking like a retarded fish. But so that stuff's really good. Solid update, made the water more lively, and a place you'd want to kind of explore a bit. It also introduced the trident. Trident's pretty cool. Outside of that stuff, it's kind of dog shit for one simple reason. The new mob they introduced with the mob vote this year was the Phantom. If you've ever played Minecraft, you hate phantoms as much as I do. Imagine you're building a big build at night. You happen not to sleep for a little bit. You're just chilling, building up to something, and out of nowhere, you just get touched very aggressively and knocked off that build by some flying little shit in the sky. Yeah, they're the worst. That part really brings the update down. We need to remove the phantoms. Yeah, solid update. Phantoms bring it down. I'd put it at top of B tier. The next update is the Village and Pillage update. This one is really good. It reworked a lot of the game's systems around villager trading. In the past, villager trading was not good. It was so bad you would just kind of leave villagers alone. There was no point to trade with them. This update reworked the entire system, making trading actually useful. So a key part of Minecraft playthroughs now with this reworked villager trading system is actually trading with villagers. So like whenever I play a world as of the past like 5 to 10 years, I upgrade tools and loot, and at a certain point there's a stage of just grinding out this huge build of a villager trading hall, trading with the villagers to get emeralds, and then you can use those emeralds to trade for other things because the villagers actually trade useful things now. You can trade for blocks instead of having to go mining. It is really OP, and I love it. The best part is that you can get librarian villagers. Librarian villagers will have enchanted books on it. So instead of going to the enchanting table, hoping for the best and combining tools nonstop, you can just grind out a librarian villager farm and get almost any enchantment you want. My favorite, everyone's favorite, is the mending book villager. I love my mending book villager. It allows your tools to essentially never break. You just get XP. Mending fixes your tools as long as you have that enchant on it. It is my favorite. If I could hand stitch an anime body pillow of my mending villager and cuddle with it every night in bed, I would do that. I love my mending villager so much. In my world, I like to go out and build a shrine just for my mending villager. It's an essential part of the Minecraft experience now. It's changed the game in so many ways. That's why this update is so good. The reworks are amazing. It's one of the best updates just for that alone. Adds a lot to the game, so yeah, it's going high up in S tier. This one's good. 1.15, the Buzzy Bee update, added Buzzy Bees. That's it. Although Mojang spit and splooged on us with the Buzzy Bee update, giving us nothing, that didn't last for long. The next update was 1.16, which was the Nether update, which completely overhauled the Nether, changing the Nether entirely. They added different biomes, so the Nether was very biodiverse now. We had wood types you could collect in the Nether, which is very cool. Gave you a lot of reasons to explore the Nether. There were like 3 or 4 new biomes added to the game. So instead of just being a red shit stain kind of like mucky area now, all over the place, it had a lot of variety to it. There were different forests and wood types to explore in the Nether. There's the soul sand biome, the bastion, so much to explore, as well as piglin trading. You can trade with piglins. Gave gold more of a purpose. There's a lot of cool things to explore, and it added netherite, so there's actually a reason to go to the Nether to trade, explore the new biomes, and mine netherite to upgrade all your tools. It just added a lot of content, and this update was awesome. This one's top of S tier. But right when you thought they might kind of slow down after a huge update, Mojang released the Caves and Cliffs update. Essentially, Caves and Cliffs revamped the entire cave generation system and added new biomes to caves, which was very cool to see. They added lush caves and like deep caves. They changed the caves a lot, is what I'm trying to say. And it made caves so fun to explore. They were in the past, caves were kind of like narrow, not too big. It made caves huge and really fun to explore, as well as the mountaintops. They also changed mountain generation, so mountains were a lot taller and cooler to look at. And you got goats, but the main highlight's the cave generation here. I really like the new cave generation, being able to mine deep slate. Deep slate's kind of a cool block. This one's gonna go up high, and it's in S tier for sure. Maybe middle of S tier. This one's really good. I love the Caves and Cliffs update. The Wild update's pretty cool. It doesn't add anything super game changing that you need to really go down into the ancient cities for. It introduced ancient cities and the mangrove swamps. Mangrove swamps are really cool, I can't lie. They're a cool biome, new wood type to get. And ancient cities are also pretty fun to explore. But there's not really any game changing loot down there, and the risk of being absolutely spread wide by the warden is usually not worth your effort going down there, so it's alright. I'd say it's a top of B tier update. One of the newer updates is the Trails and Tales update from a few years ago. This one added a lot to the game. I'll give it that. It had a lot of substance. There was a decent amount of things added to the game itself. Of those things added, though, none of them are like actually useful at all. Like, out of all my playthroughs recently, I've never once had the desire, as of yet. If you want to 100% the game, sniffers can be important, and with those new flowers you get from them. But I mean, ultimately, of the things it added, it's nothing substantial. Like, you get this sniffer you can find now, which is the most useless mob in the game unless you want those special flowers you can harvest from them. As well as a lot of archaeological things they added, so you can like get a duster and dust some sandstone now to find relics. You can make different imprinted pots in the game. So they added some neat things for decoration, which can be fun to get if you're trying to 100% the game. In an average playthrough, or even if you're doing a big in-depth playthrough, most of the time you're not going to need to get any of that stuff unless you're trying to 100% the game. So very minor things added. The big highlight, in my opinion, my favorite part of this update is they added the cherry tree biome, the pink trees now with the leaves that fall. I love that biome. That biome's so cool. The pink wood's pretty cool to use. I don't use it too much because I'm not gay, but my wife loves it, so that's a pretty cool biome. I like the aesthetic of the trees though, so really cool biome added. That's the highlight. So I'd put this one at like top of C tier. It's a pretty decent update, but the other half of it, not too useful. Armor trims are cool. You can find armor trims, but that's just a cosmetic thing, especially if you're playing in a single player world. You're never going to see that. I'd put it, yeah, top of C tier. Nothing amazing or revolutionary, but there's some decent things in there. The Tricky Trials update is a really cool idea. I love the idea of the update. In actual gameplay though, it's not the best thing. There's not really a huge reason to go to the Tricky Trials. They're very cool. It's kind of fun fighting the mobs down there. You can get the breeze things that launch you in the air, which can be useful, and the mace. The mace is a cool idea of a weapon. I don't think it's actually practical. Like, you're not gonna really, I don't think anybody really mains the mace as a weapon. So like, if there was cooler loot down in the trial chambers, I think this would be more towards like A tier, maybe even S tier if it was like game-changing loot. But like, as they stand, the trial chambers are they're fun to explore, but they don't offer too much to really change the game. So I'd say like this update's gonna be bottom of B tier if I'm being honest. Right around this time in Minecraft, they switched from doing big updates once a year to like occasional few updates every year that are just like, call them game drops, just to add stuff into the game more frequently, but with less kind of content in there. I like and dislike this system. The start of it was kind of rough. There's a few updates in here that are just very lackluster. Like, to start, there was the bundles update. It added bundles into the game, which, well, that's all it added. Bundles, you can store extra items in. I kind of like bundles in the game. They're cool to have early game, so this one's gonna go like towards the top of F tier because I kind of like that feature, even though that's the only thing they added. There's also the Armored Paws update. It added armadillos. I don't think anybody's ever like seen or used an armadillo in the game. Not very useful, so that one's just gonna go bottom of F tier. Not very worth it. The next update is the Garden Awakens update. This one introduced the Pale Gardens biome, which is the white kind of dying forest biome that's now in the game, as well as the creaking mob, which is in there. It's kind of like a version of the Warden in a way, where it kind of sneaks up on you at night. And yeah, it essentially added the Pale Gardens. The Pale Gardens they're alright. Like, when you pass by them in Minecraft, it can kind of look ugly. It's like a dying forest. So it kind of detracts from the environment. Like, you don't really want to build near them. The wood type's kind of cool. You get white wood now, which is useful. And you can also collect resin from the creaking. I've never really done this before. I know resin's good for copper and keeping it oxidized, and resin blocks can look kind of cool. Ultimately, if you don't want to get white wood, this update's pretty useless. It's a really cool idea. I just feel like they could have done more with it. This one is like, it's C tier. It's a cool idea, but you're never really gonna go into the biome or use it very much in survival Minecraft. So yeah, it's C tier. The next update is another C tier update. Just gonna say it right off the bat. Spring to Life update added minor changes. In case you're wondering why there's a bunch of like leaves and crap on the ground now in forests, this update added that. All those little like leaf litter things on the ground. Changed a little bit of like the wood generation in forests a little bit, and it added firefly bushes, which is the highlight here. My favorite addition to it. That alone keeps it kind of at the bottom of C tier, but like that's really it. I think it also added different animal mob types to different biomes, which I like that. So, you know, this one's gonna be bottom of C tier. Nothing revolutionary, but some subtle, decent changes. The Chase the Skies update introduced the Flying Ghast, which is a really cool addition to the game. You can ride on these flying ghasts in the overworld with up to like 3 other people in the game. It's a fun mode of transportation, and it's also useful for building. If you're building a big structure, you can fly on the gas and have it wait in midair while you're building. It can be useful. It's a cool addition to the game, but in reality, like, I never use these. I don't know about many other people, but I haven't seen them being widely used across like YouTube on other people's channels. They're a cool addition. You might mess around with them for a little bit. Overall, when you're building, I feel like people as well as myself mostly prefer to use other methods of building rather than these giant gas to fly around on structures. So it's a fun addition, but it isn't game changing. You might not use it for very long. Ultimately, this is probably going to be like a C tier update as well. The Copper Age update is pretty decent. I liked it. It added copper golems, which is a really nice feature. They can sort your chests if you set them up in a certain way. I want to preface by saying I've never actually built a copper golem chest sorting system, so I'll be a little biased on where I place this because I haven't done that before. But that's a really cool feature, as well as they added a bunch of copper items. They have like copper lanterns, new tools. You can craft copper tools and armor, which is cool for early game, especially in a hardcore world if you don't want to go in raw. Unprotected in the mines. You can get copper first, which is what I did. It's a cool addition, but after about like 5 minutes, you're never ever going to use copper again. And you can even skip over it just to get until you get iron armor most of the time. So it's a decent addition, but nothing game changing. I'm gonna place it like top of C, bottom of B. It's pretty decent. I liked it. The Mounts of Mayhem is a decent update. They added a few cool new features to the game. Primarily, they introduced Nautilusts, which they're pretty much an underwater horse, and you can equip armor to them. They changed the way horses worked a little bit, so they could kind of float now with you in the water, which made them more practical to use. There's netherite horse armor, another kind of cool item to grind for, and spears. Spears are a cool addition, although you're never really going to use them if I'm being honest. They're cool for a few things, but it was a cool idea. There were a few cool things added in this update, but ultimately nothing too game changing. I'd put this one in C tier. And now we have the most recent official update released, which is Tiny Takeover, which the main purpose of this update was just adding baby mob variants. That's all it did. The baby mobs are really cool. I like the change, but it didn't change anything really, just changed the textures of baby mobs. So naturally, didn't really change anything. Gonna go in F tier. After ranking all the updates, I'm seeing a very clear pattern of just overall decline when it comes to Minecraft updates and their quality. I would say before the game drop system, updates are pretty decent. We would get like an S tier update, and then it would be followed up with something kind of mid the next year as they work on something big. I like that a lot more. I liked getting the Nether update, even if it was followed by like a Buzzy Bees update. It added a lot of content in that year to the game that changed the game entirely. And then we get a chill year following that, followed by another huge update. And it would be in that order typically. Whereas now we just get these game drops, which can be pretty cool. They can add some decent things to the game, like the Copper Age, and the Mounts of Mayhem was kind of alright. Those updates were cool, but they don't go beyond C tier. Like, they're just filler, it feels like. They don't introduce anything that changes the game or makes it like better overall. Whereas the Nether update 6 years ago now changed the game completely. And we just aren't getting those anymore, which is kind of sad to see. I miss the big updates like that. It just feels like a lot of these updates are purely filler so that Minecraft and Mojang can focus on the Bedrock Edition, which can sell you in-game currency, mod packs, stuff like that. So it's less work for them. Creators get a portion of the fund. Microsoft, which owns Minecraft, now makes a lot of money off of that. And it feels like the main updates are getting a lot less priority. They're just tossing a few out a couple times a year now with small additions to make fans happy. Whereas in the past, they used to make it a special occasion where you would wait for a huge update. The update would change the game entirely, make it more fun, and bring new life into it. Now it just feels like it's partially dead for the most part. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you like the game drop system more, or do you miss the big occasional updates once a year? I for sure prefer the latter, but we'll see what happens. Hopefully Microsoft takes some time to develop a good update for us. Make the end update finally. Add some more content to the end. Maybe a new dimension or something. Maybe we'll get that fucking sky dimension people used to talk about, or Herobrine. I don't know. But yeah, I'm hopeful for the future, but something has to change when it comes to the current game drop system and them really pushing the Bedrock Minecraft store over huge updates. So we'll see. Let me know what you guys think in the comments.